I firmly believe online arbitrage on Amazon is an excellent starting point for beginners. That's why in this video, I'm going to give you a beginner-friendly tutorial on how to buy products online at low prices and then resell them on Amazon for a profit, right? And we're not just winging it here. We'll be using a step-by-step software to guide every step of this process, and it pretty much automates a large portion of this process. You don't need 100 different softwares to manage it. It all takes place in the same dashboard on the same website, which is a game changer. Now, when I started, there wasn't really much software to begin with to help with product comparisons. I had to scour deal websites constantly, right? Which was time consuming, but nowadays you don't need to do that. You can avoid all that hassle and all that time wasting. I'm going to walk you through how I would approach online arbitrage if I were starting today using modern tools to find profitable products. So here's what you need to get started. All you need to do is you need to go to Repricehub.com and sign up. There's a 14-day free trial, but I will link a discount code if I can set one up with the company in the description as the first link in the description if you want to save some money off when you sign up. Now, this is an essential online arbitrage and, Amazon dropshipping as well if you want to use retail site software. It is easy for beginners, offering a user-friendly interface that's going to spoon feed you profitable products. There's also, like I said, the free trial link so you can sign up and test out completely free without any cost. Now, the next thing you're going to want is a software that's going to verify the sales data on the actual listing, right? So I use Jungle Scout. It's a Chrome extension that provides real-time sales data on Amazon listings. It is a massive time saver and removes the guesswork from product research. Although it is part of a package right now, in my opinion, it's well worth the investment. I will link Jungle Scout in the description if you want to check that out. Although keep in mind, if you don't want to actually use the extension, you can just Google the free Jungle Scout estimator, and it's a calculator that you can use. The only issue with that is you do have to manually copy it in every once in a while when you're checking a product, so it does take up a lot more time than just clicking the extension when you're on a listing and having the sales data instantly pop up. Now, the next thing you're going to need is a revenue calculator, right? And all of this stuff, I'm going to walk you through all this stuff here in a second, so if it's overwhelming, don't worry. We're going to check off each one of these boxes. Now, you don't need an expensive revenue calculator here or to pay for an extension. You can use, and I even recommend using, the free one in Seller Central. It is accurate and it is perfect for beginners. The only issue with that is, again, the time saver, right? So if you did want to shortcut the process, you could pay for a calculator that's an extension, like something like AMZ Scout Calculator or any of them out there. There are a bunch of good ones, but again, not needed in the beginning. Just like Jungle Scout's extension, that is not needed. There's a free alternative, so you don't need to pay any money to start this business because there's free trials or free alternatives to all of this. Now, as for repricers, there are expensive repricers out there. You could also start with the free repricer in Seller Central. It does more than enough for beginners and saves you from the unnecessary expenses of spending like hundreds of dollars on a fancy repricer that is not needed. Although the great part of using Repricehub, because it is a software that does everything built in one, it also comes with a free repricer that you can utilize to automatically reprice the items that you've already researched, again, on the website using their software, that you've already listed, again, on the website, so it tracks everything for you, and then also automatically reprices based on the parameters that you set up. So it is a built-in all-in-one tool, saving you so much time. You don't need to have dozens of different softwares. Now, one more thing is the online seller add-on extension. It's a free Chrome extension that's going to show you how many sellers are on a listing and their specific inventory levels. Now, this is crucial for understanding the competition on Amazon, because if a product's selling but it has hundreds of other sellers, obviously you need to factor in how many sales it's getting versus how many sales you can estimate you would get if you share those sales with all the other sellers on the buy box, right? So it's not just going to tell you how many sellers are on a listing, it's also going to tell you how much inventory each seller has, which is absolutely crucial. And finally, you need to ship your products into FBA. It's obviously not mandatory, right? You could fulfill them yourself doing FBM, but I highly recommend it for better buy box competition and ultimately more sales with a more hands-off approach. Now, furthermore, if you do want to add some additional cash back, you could use a cashback credit card or a cashback portal. My favorite cashback one is Rakuten, so you might think a few percentages here and there don't matter, but they do add up a lot, especially if you're buying in bulk for something like arbitrage, like I'm going to show you. So in this video, I'm going to take you through sourcing products using this specific tool. I'm going to show you exactly how to find profitable items, explaining why each tool is vital for your success and how to use it. But in my opinion, Reprice Repricehub is the best tool out there for beginners because it builds all of those in one, right? I haven't seen a software where it answers all these questions, where you can do product research, you can list, you can reprice all within the app, and then also monitor your back-end orders and give you all that data, right? It's going to help you find those profitable arbitrage opportunities between Amazon and other suppliers literally in seconds. It's going to help you choose a product to list on Amazon directly in a few clicks. Just understanding what that product's ASIN is, you can then input it into the software instantly. It's also going to monitor your prices and the availability of your products, right? 24/7, 365, so you don't ever sell out of a loss, or if you're drop shipping, which is not what we're covering here, so you don't sell an out of stock product, right? Now, I did do a drop shipping tutorial using Repricehub, so if you're more interested in drop shipping on Amazon, I will link that at the bottom of the description. But this specific tutorial is covering online arbitrage and reselling retail items from other websites back onto Amazon, which in my opinion is one of the best ways to build up an initial nest egg of money while staying within the terms of service on Amazon, learning the ropes a little bit better. And realistically, if you're somebody that's looking for a few extra $1,000s a month profit, this is perfect for you. You can scale it to that very easily. There's so many products out there, and softwares like this make it so easy. Now, furthermore, if you want to increase your sales, like I said, you could also use the built-in repricer. You can also track and organize your sales, your profits, your revenue, all from the dashboard here. But again, I'm going to show you that here in a second. So the very first thing that you want to do is you want to start a new search once you sign up to Repricehub, okay? So you can see the top suppliers here. We could use Webstaurant Store, we could use Home Depot, Best Buy, Walmart. These are all top retailers that I used to source all the time when I used to do online arbitrage more frequently on Amazon. All of them are good. And you might, like, typically when I teach drop shipping, I tell people to stay away from these top retail suppliers because it's going to get you suspended if you're drop shipping, right? However, the benefit of doing something like online arbitrage is we are not drop shipping, so we're allowed to resell because a retail receipt will prove authenticity and sourcing chain. It won't get you ungated, but it will prove authenticity, right? So in short, we can use these suppliers when we're doing online arbitrage. So we could use Walmart, we could use Home Depot. Let's use Home Depot just as an example here. Now, the next thing you're going to want to do is input the supplier's sales tax percentage, right? So this is going to obviously depend on your state that you're ordering it to. So find out what your sales tax is in your state, right? And then input it in there. Now, if you are tax exempt and you have a reseller's permit like me, you're going to keep this at 0% because if you're shipping something and ordering it to your house, you can get tax exempt on all of these suppliers if you provide your reseller's permit, and so they don't charge you a sales tax, which instantly increases your margin, you know, anywhere from 5 to like 12%, I think California's is, whatever the highest one is, right? So mine's 0 because I have a reseller's permit. If you want to learn how to get a reseller's permit, you can do so at the bottom of the description. I will drop a tutorial that will teach you how to do that in literally like 3 to 5 minutes. Also, your cashback discount. So for example, if you want to factor in Rakuten's going to give you a certain percentage cash back, or if you have a cashback credit card utilizing Home Depot, or for example, I have a Walmart credit card that gives me 5% cash back on every single purchase. Same thing with Best Buy. Well, in that case, then I would put 5% here, knowing that my margin is going to increase 5% with every single purchase because I'm getting that back, right? So these are things that you're going to want to factor in. I like to think of the cashback as a bonus because, little caveat here, you don't actually have to claim that on your business revenue, right? Cashback can be something that you don't actually have to pay income tax on. So that's why I keep it out of this. I don't factor it in. I source without any cashback estimated, and any cashback that I get is a bonus at the end, right? It's just play money. So I'm going to keep both of these 0, but that's going to depend on your specific situation. Again, most of you are probably, if you're not tax exempt, going to have a specific number in here, anywhere from 5 to 12%. Then you're going to search. And as you can see here, it's going to show you different products that also sell on Home Depot that are on Amazon and the price difference, right? So the best thing you want to do is use this filter lever over here to gauge your profit. What's the minimum profit that you want to see products on? And what is the minimum ROI percentage? Obviously, the further in you drag it and the more narrow you get with profit, like the higher profit, the higher ROI, the less products you're going to see because there's going to be less products that actually fit those parameters. So let's just, as an example, drag this to like 20% ROI with $13 profit margin minimum. And you can see that there's still 213 pages of products. So there's a ton, right? So there's probably some good opportunities here, but let's go even further in, right? Let's go like $25 profit and 35% ROI. And you can see on the bottom here, if we apply that there's only 26 pages now, and that drastically reduced the amount of products, right? So hypothetically, in an ideal world, if you were sourcing this to actually buy, what you would do is you want to set that profit up as high as possible and and set that ROI up as high as possible so that you're still finding a decent amount of products that you can check, but that you're getting the highest ROI and highest profit. And then slowly you want to go broader and broader and broader and check the lower profit margins after you've already solidified the high ROIs and the high profit. So let's check this one right here. You can see this Pennzoil right here, 5-quart SAE 5W20 synthetic motor oil, 3-pack, sells on Home Depot for $65. It's telling me that the same exact one sells on Amazon right here for $140. So if that were the case, that is a massive opportunity and a massive profit margin, right? It also shows you the profit right here is $54 estimated, right? Based on the parameters that we set, 83% ROI, which is wild. The Amazon fee is about $21 based on the actual weight and size of this package estimated. Tells you the ASIN, tells you the sales rank, and again, the supplier tax or the supplier discount that you put in there. If you input that, I did not. So the next thing that you're going to want to do is obviously check, right? These software compare using product pictures and product identifiers and, you know, the title and the description and everything, as well as things like UPC, ASIN, etc., to find profitable products that are the same product, right? But ultimately, you still want to do your due diligence and still make sure after. This is just what I like to say as like product leads. It's going to save you so much time giving you the actual product leads, but then you want to verify to make sure that they are indeed profitable, that you can sell them, etc., etc. So let's go through the checklist, right? First and foremost, you want to make sure that they are the same product and that they're in stock. Now, this is not in stock, but as an example, let's pretend that this was in stock, and we're going to go through the checklist to see if this is a profitable product that we could indeed buy and resell on Amazon, right? So first and foremost, is it the same product? Even though the picture's the same, we don't want to take that at face value. We want to make sure, right? So this is the Platinum SAE 5W-20, Platinum SAE 5W-20, 5-quart case of 3, 5-quart case of 3. So this is the same exact product. Now, we know it's the same exact product. The next thing you want to know is, can you sell it, right? Because if you're not able to sell this on your Amazon seller account, if you're gated for this, then there's no point to actually even going through the rest of the checklist because you can't sell it anyway, right? So you just want to copy the ASIN. This is Jungle Scout when you have it enabled right here. So that's Jungle Scout already. If you don't know the ASIN of the product, you can scroll down and just find that in the product details. There it is right there. Boom. You can copy it from there. So then you want to take it into Seller Central and paste the ASIN in here to make sure that you can sell it. Now, can we sell this product in new condition? We can. It says we're able to sell this product. If anything else pops up there where you're unable to sell it in new condition, then obviously you're not able to sell it. If it says request approval, always hit it just in case. You might get auto approved, and that's great. If not, move on to the next product, right? Now that we know it's the same product, we know we're able to sell it, the next thing you want to do is monitor the sales of it, right? So Repricehub is telling us that it's highly rated and it's selling well, right? Because it's got a sales rank of 100, which is great. But what are the actual sales and what's the actual competition on this listing so we know how many to actually source from this, right? So again, you could use the free Jungle Scout estimator if you want to Google it. It's easy to find. Just Google FBA calculator, free Jungle Scout 1. It should pop up, and then you can just paste the ASIN in there as well, and it will tell you. Or what you can do is use the Jungle Scout Chrome extension. It will pop up and tell you the sales data. This one's selling about 11,000 a month and about 257 a day, right? So it's selling like hotcakes. The next thing we want to make sure is what's the competition on the listing, right? Because if it's selling 1,000 units a day, for example, but it's got, 100,000 other sellers on it, obviously it's never going to have that many. But if it has a lot of other sellers, then that's something we need to factor in as well, right? So now we're going to use the online seller add-on, this blue one right here, and see what the actual competition is on this listing and how many units they have, right? So Amazon is on this listing, which can be a red flag for some people. I don't actually avoid listings that Amazon's selling on, but what I do is I factor that in to my equation, right? So typically if Amazon's on a listing, they're going to share the buy box with other sellers about 20 to 30% of the time. So always keep that in mind. But for a rule of thumb for most beginners, they typically like to avoid buy boxes where Amazon is actually on the listing. So you can make the judgment for yourself. Again, just take it and assume that whatever the sales data is, only 30% of that is shareable if Amazon is on the listing, right? So if this were 1,000 units a month, well, 30% of that roughly is 300 sales. So you can estimate 300 sales a month instead of 1,000 if Amazon is selling on it as well, right? And they are, okay? So I think this was selling 1,000 or 10,000, 11,000 units. So about 30% of that would be anywhere from like, I don't know, 320, 330, 340 or something like that, just off the top of my head. So I would estimate on the low end about 300 sales, maybe we'll say 320, 310 a month estimated, since again, Amazon is on this listing. And that's not 300 sales that I would get potentially. It's 300 sales that I would share with everybody else on this listing that is not Amazon, right? So as you can see, there's the Factory Depot, SAS Decor, Everyday Goods, and you can see all the other sellers as well. You could see their prices right here, whether they're FBM, meaning they're fulfilling it themselves from their house or their warehouse, or whether they shipped it into FBA, which it doesn't look like any of these people have shipped it into FBA, which is actually a good thing and a massive opportunity, right? So you can see that none of these are FBA shipping except for Amazon, which is on the buy box right now with FBA shipping. It's also going to tell you the quantity they have or how many units they have in stock, right? So Factory Depot has 10 of these 3-packs, SAS Decor has 5. And so this is all the data that you can utilize to factor in your decision to see if I can estimate, if I buy this product, is it profitable? Can I sell it? How many sales can I basically estimate that I would have based on how many sales Jungle Scout is telling me it's having, or whatever product research software you're going to use to tell you the sales data, and based on the competition on the listing that Online Seller Add-on's telling me on how many sales it's getting versus competition that I'm expecting to compete with for the buy box, right? So this would be a good product if it were in stock on the supplier, which it's not. So let's move on to another product. Let's check this Magic Chef refrigerator. This is on Home Depot, and again, that's out of stock. Now, another thing that you could do is you could set the Amazon settings or your supplier settings as well. So an easy way to filter out of stock items would be to put a minimum price of 1, because typically speaking on most suppliers, if it has a price on it, it's not going to be out of stock. It would just say out of stock if it didn't have a price. That's not the case for every supplier, but that is the case for most of them. Again, you could also set Amazon settings, or you could hide every single listing that Amazon is on if you wanted to do that and then apply it, right? You could also add search terms in here if you're looking for a specific search term or a specific keyword, a specific product. I don't ever do that though. I use it to find profitable products. I don't really care what they are, what niche they are. If they're profitable, I will sell it. So let's check this right here, and we'll pull up a few more. This step stool trash can, and we'll just see if these are in stock. So this one's in stock on the supplier. That's a good sign. This one is discontinued and not in stock. So let's check this one. This one's $23.82 on the supplier, which is Home Depot. It is $77.73 on Amazon. Is it the same product, right? This is a 4-pack, 4 count. This is a 2-pack. So keep that in mind, right? That's 4-pack versus a 2. So if this were the same exact product and the same exact dimensions, we would have to order this twice, right? So this is not actually a $24 cost to us. It's more or less a $48 cost to us, which still makes it potentially profitable and a potentially good buy. So always keep that in mind. Always pay attention to the count. Make sure it is the same exact product, right? So this is the 16 by 15, which is 16 by 15 as well. Non-slip Twillo Marine Tuft. Non-slip Twillo Marine Tuft. It looks to be the same. Again, I would do a little bit more product research just to make sure it's the same brand, just to make sure that it's the same exact product. It appears at face value right now to be. For the sake of not wasting your time, I'm not going to do more research looking at the specific specs of each product, but you definitely should, before you source, make sure they're the same, right? That goes without saying. But let's see if we can sell this. If it is profitable, if we could actually sell it and source it with enough, competition on the listing. So again, the first thing that we're going to do is check to see if we can sell this. Copy the ASIN. We're going to paste the ASIN in here. And are we able to sell this? No, we're not able to sell it in new condition. So let's apply to sell it and see if we get auto ungated. Boom, we are auto ungated for this now. Now, that's going to depend on how your sales history is, whether you have a lot of sales on Amazon already, how long your account is, right? If you're brand new, you won't get auto ungated for a lot. But as you sell more and more and your sales volume goes up, Amazon starts to trust you more, you will get auto ungated for a lot more brands like I just did. So now if we refresh this page and now we go back to sell new, I can now sell this product, okay? So we can sell it. The next thing we want to make sure is the sales volume on the actual listing. It is selling. It's selling $725 a month, about 20 a day. What is the competition? Let's check Online Seller Add-on. It looks like there's a total of 29 units, but only 4 sellers, and Amazon is not on this listing, so that's good. Again, all of these sellers are selling FBM. None of them are in FBA, which is a great opportunity because if we ship it into FBA, typically speaking, we can most likely match the top price and even go a little bit higher because our deliverability to the customer is a lot faster, right? The two main factors that go into who wins the buy box, which attributes about 80% to 90% of sales on Amazon, the majority of them, is first price, and second is availability to the customer very close to that, right? So realistically, you could probably estimate to sell this anywhere from $80 to maybe even $85 based on the fact that everybody's sitting around $80 and you're going to ship it into FBA, unless of course you'd fulfill it yourself, right? But I always like to assume that it's the number that's on the buy box. So we'll just assume 77, 73 is what we'd sell it for. And then again, if our repricer is able to get more out of it, more benefit, more bonus to us. So this seems like a good product, but is it actually profitable, right? If we source it on this website, we're gonna have free shipping because it's gonna be over the threshold on Home Depot to get free shipping. We can estimate if we buy two 2-packs and ship them in as a 4-pack, that $23.82 times 2 is $47.64. Now, you would add sales tax to that as well. Keep that in mind if you live in a state where sales tax is charged. If you have a reseller's permit, then obviously you wouldn't be paying sales tax, but figure out whatever your sales tax is for you in your state. The easiest way to obviously do that is just add it to your cart and see what the actual end checkout cost is. That's the fastest and easiest way if you don't want to estimate, right? So we're going to say 47.64. I always tell my VAs to round up to the next dollar just to account for any other things that we might not be accounting for. So we're going to say this is $48 to source this. We're going to take the ASIN into a revenue calculator here. We're going to use the free one in the back end of Seller Central, paste it in there. And now we're going to do Amazon fulfillment over here. So if the item price is auto-populated at $77.73, which is the buy box price right now, and we go all the way down here to the cost of goods, which again was $48, and we estimate our ship into FBA costs, which can be anywhere from like $1 to a few dollars realistically, or even as low as a few, 10, 20 cents if you're shipping a bunch of stuff in at once. I like to estimate $1 for most items unless they're very, very big and I have to ship them in one off at a time. Then sometimes it can be $3, $4, $5 to ship a product in. But again, you're going to learn this as you go. Most will be 50 cents, $1, maybe $1.50 to $2 max because you're going to be sending in a bunch of units at once, or at least you should be doing that to save on shipping costs. So if we ship this into FBA at $1, it costs us $48 to source this product. We would make $12.13 with an average margin of $15.61. So this is a good product that we would source and sell, right? So we found the product with Repricehub that is profitable, that we can make $12 on every single time we buy it, ship it into Amazon, and it sells. Now, the next thing that you'd want to do with Repricehub is you'd want to add it to Repricehub so that it can automatically track the supplier. It can automatically reprice for you. It's going to add it into your Amazon Seller Central for you automatically and do all of those things again automatically, right? So you would again take the actual supplier link. We would come back into Repricehub now. You would open up the lister and single lister. I like to list one at a time. You can list in bulk if you want to just save them all in a spreadsheet and then do it all in bulk at the end of your sourcing session. That can work well too. Now we're going to come back in. We're going to paste the ASIN first, not the URL. Copy the ASIN here, paste the ASIN in. Boom, there it is. It's a retail supplier. Now we want to input the URL of the corresponding supplier product. Boom, there we go. It's literally going to tell us, estimating all of that the profit margin is $15. When the item's sold, should I restock quantity, reprice if the product is in Amazon? And you can obviously set if the supplier goes out of stock to set the quantity in Amazon to 0. So these two right here, when the item is sold, restock the quantity. And if supplier goes out of stock, set the quantity in Amazon to 0. You are only going to check them if you're drop shipping this product, right? If you're not, if you're doing online arbitrage like I'm teaching in this tutorial, again, if you want to learn how to drop ship on this using Repricehub, there is a link at the bottom of the description to a tutorial that I did on strictly drop shipping with this, right? It's a different approach, very similar, but slightly different, okay? If you're doing online arbitrage, only make sure to reprice it on Amazon, and then you're going to set your repricing strategy next, okay? Now, if you already have a repricing template, then you can set that template here. You can also apply it if you've already set it. If you haven't already, obviously I have here, you can add a strategy and then create one, right? Now, based on what you want to do here, you can match the buy box, you can match the lowest price, you can match FBA only or FBM only. Typically speaking, for most of you, you're just going to want to match the buy box price so that you're matching the buy box. You're not undercutting anybody, because if you undercut and they also have a repricer, it's just going to end up being race to the bottom and then nobody wins. Everybody loses profit margin and nobody likes that. That's a rookie mistake, okay? So we're going to match the buy box. We're going to match it, not price below. What to do if there's no competition? Well, I'm just going to say do not reprice. What to do if the competition goes below my minimum price? Then I would say do not reprice. So you could, if you wanted to lose money on this product, then you obviously could put that in there. I do not, right? So if somebody's going to go under my minimum price that I know is my break even price so that I'm not losing money on this product, like if my break even on this, it's currently selling at like 77 something. If I know that my break even price is $60 and someone goes to 59, I don't want the repricer to go below my minimum, because if I set my minimum price to that, knowing I'm going to break even at that point, if somebody goes under, I'm just going to let them sell out so I can still make money when they're out of stock, right? I don't want to match them because I'm them losing money on the sale. I'd rather just be patient, okay? So don't change my price when I'm in the buy box. I usually enable that. That way, once you win the buy box, you stay there until you lose the buy box, at which point your repricer will spring back into action, win you the buy box back again, and that's how that works. And then you can also set specific parameters based on your seller rating to go above a certain percentage if you want to compete, or stay within a certain percentage if you want to stay within 5% of the buy box at all times. This is typically for sellers that have a good history and a lot of sales volume, because they can typically win the buy box at a higher price than other sellers. Not always. Again, a lot of different factors go in, as well as price and availability to the customer, but that is a factor that's strongly considered on Amazon about the buy box, so keep that in mind. Now, what's your minimum profit and what's your maximum profit? If you want to change this, what I'll do is I'll go fixed price, because I know my break even price, right? And this is the last thing I'll find. So I'll go back to the repricer, where we know that if we sell this for $77.73, we source it for $48, and it costs us $1 to ship it in. Well, what's our break even price? We want to lower the item price, or what it will sell on Amazon for, until we figure out what the net profit is close to zero at, so we know our break even price, right? So let's slowly drop this. Obviously, $75 is not going to be low enough, but just to show you how it changes, if the buy box moves to 75, now the net margin is going to be almost $10. Let's find our break even price. 55 is probably too low. If we sell it at 55, we're losing $7, right? So we don't want to go that low. So let's try 65. 65 would be $1.30. I'd say that's pretty close to net even, because obviously you want to add a little bit of wiggle room. 64 might be pretty close. There you go. We're going to put 64. That's a good number. If we sell it at $64, we're still averaging a 46 cents profit, which is obviously not ideal, but it's pretty much break even. So we want to know that. So the repricer, again, we're not trying to sell it at that, but we want to know that so the repricer never goes below that. If you want to even go $1 or $2 above, that's fine too. So that was 64. We'll go $1 above. We'll say $65 minimum. And then again, you would save that product, okay? Obviously, you need a name in there, which is what I forgot. Then it's going to list your product to Seller Central automatically, reprice your product based on the parameters that you set, also tell you all the sales data, all the order information for all these products on Repricehub and on Amazon. And again, the coolest part about all of this is now they have the product research built in, so you can start a search all the suppliers that they have, find literally dozens or hundreds of products like that are profitable, that you can resell and ship into Amazon FBA to make money. And you no longer need dozens of softwares to do this. It is all built into Repricehub for you in an easy to use, easy to understand dashboard, right? So that's how to use Repricehub. They just changed the game with product research, with online arbitrage, or even drop shipping. Although, like I said, this tutorial is online arbitrage. There's so much opportunity here. If you want to make $1,000, if you want to make a few $1,000s profit, online arbitrage is one of the best places to do so. So if you want to try Repricehub, again, completely free, you can do so through the first link in the description. I will also drop a coupon code that I've set up with the company if you want to use that to save some money once your trial ends. But check this software out, guys. It can make you a lot of money, and it is so easy to use. Hope it helps.